Yeah, so a lot of people have been asking me to make a PvE guide, so I decided to do it. We're just gonna rip it. But we have an announcement from Jae Hee Kim, going now.
Today I am here, Succession Musa players, to formally apologize for the constant abuse you have faced for the last 2 years. Previously, in August of 2022, we cut the damage of the Succession Musa class down by 15 to 25% in PvE, while your main damage is on cooldown. As of the last month, we have improved the damage 6 months after your class was nearly butchered by the damage hit changes. And for that I apologize. Please purchase more outfits so I can afford taxes on my Bugatti.
Okay, so the first things first on this class, uh, in regards to add-ons and how certain abilities interact with add-ons. Carver, Cyclone Slash, Rising Storm, and Blaze are very, very particular. I don't think there's any other classes that function this way uh, in the entirety of the game. Maybe Mewa because they're similar, but Carver, whenever you use it against an enemy, uses Cyclone Slash's add-ons on the first hit of Carver. So, for instance, if you were to Carver something, you're gonna get a -20 debuff, plus the two add-ons from Carver, plus the two add-ons from Cyclone Slash. This additionally applies to Rising Storm as well, with Rising Storm Blaze. If you were to run -20 DP on Rising Storm, and a debuff, let's just say minus evasion, that would apply as well to Blaze. Okay, so next thing in our PvE discussion, we're going to have a little talk about add-ons. Pretty sure everybody wants to know about add-ons for Succession Musa. It's pretty important whenever you're trying to grind is to have correct add-ons. Pretty important when you're trying to do PvP, you have to have correct add-ons. Add-ons are just very important in general. So let's get into that. I'm going to display some add-ons on screen, and we're going to go over why these add-ons and how they're used and ability combinations. The following skills, Cyclone Slash, Gale, Retaliation, Carver, Blind Thrust, and Rising Storm, have been selected for PvE add-ons. The first three skills, Carver, Cyclone Slash, and Rising Storm, are pretty obvious picks. Firstly, they apply their add-ons to other abilities. Rising Storm gets to affect Blaze with its add-ons, and Cyclone Slash gets to affect Carver with their add-ons. The reason why Cyclone Slash can affect Carver is because there's a special unique flow for Carver called Typhoon. Outside of the blatant benefits you get from using these selected abilities, they are also chosen due to when being used off cooldown, you can refresh your buff and debuffs. So you can literally have 100% uptime on Carver, Rising Storm, Cyclone Slash, and on top of it, Gale. So you get to keep 10% attack speed, 30 monster AP, 5% critical damage, 5 accuracy, and -5 evasion debuffs on 100% uptime as long as you're striking an enemy. We're going to talk about some skills individually now. Carver naturally has a -20 DP on it, so throwing 20 more onto it is really good synergy for your max DP potential. The crit damage is to max out your potential damage for your crit, because when you crit buff with Blind Thrust, you will naturally hit 75 critical strike chance to 98 critical strike chance, not including your 25% innate from level 5 crit. Cyclone Slash add-ons will auto-activate upon use of Carver. Carver Typhoon will allow you to instantly get all benefits, even though you will use Cyclone Slash after Carver anyways. Carver will benefit from the monster AP, the attack speed, and the critical damage buff. Retaliation has a very wide hitbox, so you're using this to ensure enemies are debuffed. The down attack damage is used for certain grind spots where you can actually down your enemies. Blind Thrust gives you a 18% critical strike chance, so we synergize that by adding 30% crit chance. And the back attack is best used here because the back attack buff will have just about the same cooldown as Blind Thrust. Rising Storm has a large hitbox, so you can aggro mobs and debuff them at the same time with -20 debuff, both using Rising Storm and Blaze. Additionally, since the hitbox is so large, you can also max out your healing potential from Rising Storm and Blaze on many targets. So Rising Storm has an innate healing. You might as well synergize it and add more to it. If the hitbox is so large, you can hit more mobs and heal more. Gale I specifically use for my flex skill. I have the minus evasion and the plus accuracy on it specifically because I grind an Arsha a lot. I get into PvP, and it's pretty essential to be able to decrease people's evasion and increase your accuracy. You don't really need it for PvE anymore because they changed the way accuracy and evasion works and damage reduction works. So Gale reducing monsters like evasion is not really necessary anymore. So that's strictly a PvP benefit for when I'm using my PvE skill set. Okay, before we get into the actual combo itself, I want to have a little footnote here. For Carver and for Blind Thrust, the add-ons, you can actually swap the crit damage and back attack depending on what you want to have 100% uptime on guaranteed. With the use of Carver off cooldown, you still get the add-ons buffs. So if you want to keep your crit damage up 100% of the time, you would keep that on Carver. If you want to have back attack because it's more important for what you're grinding, like for example trolls or Gyphons, you would use that instead. So we're going to be talking about ability flow. I'll be going over everything that is relevant to PvE. Skills that flow together will often not have input lag, which means you can either hold down one button and it will activate, or they will flow into each other smoothly, so the animations are seamless. So the first things I want to talk about is going to be forward blind thrust flows. Forward blind thrust is pressing the W key, holding LMB and spacebar at the same time. It will chain and flow into Blooming, Gale, Rising Storm, and Carver. Cyclone Slash will flow into Blooming by holding LMB if it is either on or off cooldown rather, or if you have a Serene Mind buff. If you hold down LMB after Carver, Gale, Blooming, or Blind Slash, you will perform Cyclone Slash. If you hold RMB and LMB after Rising Storm, you can also use Cyclone Slash. Gale can be used off of a few abilities. You can use it off of Rising Storm Blaze. You can use it off of Retaliation, Pouncing Dragon, Blooming, Divider, Mountain Divider, and also Storm Slash. You can also use Forward Chase and Backwards Chase. Mountain Divider flows off of a few abilities. Only Rising Storm, Storm Slash, Gale, and you can also now use it in a forward dash movement or a backwards dash movement. Storm Slash only flows off of two abilities, which is Blaze and Pouncing Dragon. Well, the reason why Succession Musa kit even works the way it does is because of this neat little passive ability we have called Serene Mind. Serene Mind allows you to cast your hardest hitting abilities, Blaze, Blooming, and Gale, in additional time for the use of the buff Serene Mind. So once you cast it, you use the buff, it's gone. Then you can no longer cast those abilities if they're on cooldown. The trade-off here is that they cost more stamina to cast, and they also do slightly reduced damage. The abilities that generate Serene Mind are shown here. All these abilities will generate Serene Mind upon hitting a target. The exception to this is Musa Spirit and Fiery Angel. You get a charge of Serene Mind upon skill use rather than skill hit for those two skills. Okay, now for the important bits, the actual rotations of your abilities. First, you start with Blind Thrust for your maximum critical strike chance and crit damage or back attack damage. Secondly, you're going to use Carver. This is going to decrease the DP on what you're hitting by 40. Cyclone Slash is filler damage. You use it after every ability, so you're going to do Blind Thrust, Carver, Cyclone Slash, Blooming, Cyclone Slash, Gale, Cyclone Slash, Rising Storm, Blaze, Storm Slash. I'm going to throw the inputs on screen so it's a little bit easier to comprehend if you're trying to do inputs with the video to figure it out. So pretty much after you've dumped your full cooldown cycle of your big abilities, you now get to utilize your Serene Mind buff to recast them. So pretty much you're just going to bounce in between skills that give you Serene Mind buff, which is going to be like for Blind Thrust, you have Retaliation, you have Dragon Bite, you have Musa Spirit, you have Fiery Angel, you have Mountain Divider, you have Blind Slash, and think that's it. I could be wrong. I'm also brain dead. But yeah, you pretty much just cast Serene Mind ability, cast damage. Now, the last piece of info I want to share with you is crystals. They are not special, but they will help. Damage modification crystals are crystals that give you special attack damage. Crit damage, backshot damage, and down attack are the three major types you can use. Crit damage is used for grinding when you can't 100% utilize back attack damage. Examples of spots where you can use this are like Ash Forest, normal, Lowen, Kama, and Dragon. Pillar grind spots like Crescents and Highlands, and even Star's End. Backshot damage is used at grind spots where you're primarily hitting it from behind. Places like Trolls, Darkseekers, and Lower Gyphins will utilize backshot crystals. Honestly, bro, I'll keep it a buck. For running down attack crystals for any reason that isn't City of the Dead or Tomb of Node Wars, you are griefing. That's just how it is. And if you are grinding OD and Kama, you use Volterra crystals if your AP is high enough. If not, run Rebellious. You don't need accuracy crystals. They are not necessary. You can just build for maximum AP. And if you need defensive crystals like Bitterness, then quite frankly, shouldn't be there. Okay, my last parting words for those who are watching this video. Firstly, thanks for fucking clicking and watching. You guys are gamers. Secondly, thanks for commenting on my previous videos. Those who've commented, I've seen people like Azir. He's a streamer. Zirdan, streamer. I've had just random people that just on the internet, just game, commented, and honestly, that shit made me smile. I won't even lie. More importantly, this goober right here asking for me to make the PvE video, I appreciate you the most. Thanks for motivating me. That was very epic of you. Outside of that, happy holidays. Be safe. Feel free to drop a like, a comment, or subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments how I can improve these videos. Let me know if you want more memes. Let me know if you want PvP montages, whatever the fuck. Let me know. Take care.